What's up, hardcore casual fans? It's D Scott tuning in again for another episode on Hardcore Casual MMA. We're gonna take a look at UFC Fight Night Paris and how the card broke down, and go into depth about some of the fights. The fighting nerds went 0-2. Ruffy may have been exposed. We're gonna get into that. And also all the France fighters went 5-0, so the home court advantage was in full effect, and they represented for the home crowd. The Paris fans were going crazy. It was a great card, a lot of finishes, TKOs, good submissions. So we're gonna get into it. Let's go take a look at it. Next up, we had the veteran OG Brad Tavarez versus Robert Brycezek. This fight was a pretty good fight. Brycezek, for the most part, dominated the fight with his pressure. He just kept overwhelming Tavarez on the feet with his strikes, throwing his straights and jabs, overwhelming him with big hooks, and ultimately in the third round got pressure Tavarez against the cage, and found the finish via TKO. With hooks and uppercuts, and Brad Tavarez just wilted to the pressure eventually. Brad Tavarez has been like a tester for the middleweight division for quite some time. All the contenders had to face them before they get better opponents, and I don't know what Brad Tavarez is going to do going forward. He still has some fights in him and still can contend with some of the unranked fighters and maybe some of the lower ranked fighters. But it was Brycezek's first UFC fight, and we'll see what he's gonna look like in the future. On to the next one. Moving on along on the prelims, we had the up-and-coming contender prospects, Sam Patterson versus Trey Waters. Sam Patterson, he's undefeated so far, all first round finishes in the UFC, 3-0 until this upcoming fight. And I think Trey Waters was a 2-0 prospect. Sam Patterson comes in again and gets the finish in the first round. Trey Waters came out pressuring Sam Patterson, landed some good jabs and crosses. Looked like he was gonna start getting the better of Sam Patterson. Actually was getting the better of him, but Sam Patterson caught his bearings, started finding his timing, and caught Trey Waters and TKO'd him, knocked him out in the first round. So four fights in the UFC, 4 first round finishes for the welterweight prospect, up and coming contender Sam Patterson. We'll keep an eye on him. On to the next one. Co-main event of the evening, we got Benoit Saint-Denis versus the surging fighting nerd contender Mauricio Ruffy. Well, guys, I was thoroughly disappointed in this fight. Not that I didn't think this could happen, because I was just confident that, in the fighting nerds and their training, and that Mauricio Ruffy would be prepared and be able to thwart Benoit Saint-Denis' game plan, especially being that they've trained for Benoit Saint-Denis before, because Thiago Moises fought Benoit Saint-Denis, and I believe that's when Thiago Moises had came to the Fighting Nerds and started training with them. So I thought that would give him, the advantage, but Benoit Saint-Denis did what Benoit Saint-Denis does, and I'm gonna show you a clip of what I said in my breakdown about Saint-Denis wrestling, and Mauricio Ruffy hadn't been tested in the wrestling at all. They have handpicked him strikers, but in his performance, he had me thinking he was ready, but he fooled me. He got me. I ain't ashamed to admit it, guys. Think he got a lot of people, but Benoit Saint-Denis came out with his game plan, throwing those body kicks like I talked about. Caught Ruffy with a heavy body kick. Then went up high with a high kick and hit Ruffy in the head with it, but Ruffy just ate that, And I didn't see this coming, but Saint-Denis pressure, and that was the thing that I was concerned about, is Saint-Denis pressure, because it gets him in trouble sometimes, but it was calculated and he did fight like he was supposed to fight, and he had that calculated pressure, throwing good strikes, not overextending himself, pressured Ruffy, got the takedown, dominated him on the ground basically for the first round. I think he got the back. Ruffy was able to reverse it, but when he got on top, this one I seen like, okay, man. After the first round, I knew it. Like, watching the UFC for a while, sometimes you can just tell how fights start. Like, if a fighter is gonna be able to, make his way out of this. Sometimes they do, but it didn't look good for Ruffy after that first round. He got on top and he didn't even do anything with it really. He wasn't able to land strikes to keep Benoit Saint-Denis off of him, but he was able to get up and get off the ground, but after the second round, after that first round, the second round started and Benoit came, same game plan, throwing strikes, getting Ruffy to overcommit and catch him with a takedown while he's trying to strike back. He got the takedown, and ultimately, in my opinion, Ruffy quit on us, guys. Like, he wasn't fighting the hands. Once Saint-Denis got him down and ended up taking his back, he wasn't fighting the hands. And when Saint-Denis got the choke, Ruffy had plenty of time, to fight the hands. His arm was over like his nose and his mouth, so it wasn't on the neck. But we know, like, with good pressure, you still get the tap, with that forearm covering the mouth and the pressure they're able to put on it with that rear naked choke. And I just think Ruffy didn't want to wrestle, and he didn't fight through it and show that resilience that you need for, to be a champion. Like, you got to fight through those things. It's just the second round, and I think he kind of lightweight checked out on us, guys, and it was sad to see, but that's the fight game. And his wrestling was exposed, so that's a hole in his game that he's going to have to work on. And also with his striking, he's gonna have to, start just throwing strikes. Not everything has to be beautiful, creative, or a knockout, but landing the basic jab. And one, he's flashy and very accurate and creates good angles, but sometimes those basics will, help you in situations like this. This fight reminded me exactly of Mauricio versus O'Malley too. Like, just look, those type of fighters, kind of not trying to, touch them, get that jab going, 1-2, not looking for those big shots and actually fighting, and end up getting taken down, looking for those knockout shots. And it definitely reminded me of Mauricio versus O'Malley too, the way this fight played out. So Ruffy he still is a good contender. He still, will most likely be a ranked fighter in the lightweight division. But he's got to work on these things to be able to get to that title. Is a fierce competitor at number one in the lightweight division, and he's well-rounded everywhere. He's hell of a striker, superpower, and he wrestled. His wrestling and jiu-jitsu is on 10 as well. So, he's got a lot of work to do. But it was disappointing. But I'm glad for Saint-Denis. Got that big win in France, and now he's back. His motion's going again. He's back in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Saint-Denis about to climb up that lightweight title. And he did the things that he needed to do, that I felt like he needed to do to win. But in my mind, I thought he probably wouldn't execute that way. But he matured in his fighting, and he came out and did what he needed to do and ran a beautiful game plan against Ruffy, dominated him, and got the submission, got him out of there in the second round. Bad day for the fighting nerds, but I'm not a fickle fan. I still love them. I'm still proud of the things they've done, and amazed, respectful of, their coaching and their athletes. As you can see, still rocking the glasses, but yeah, that's that. We're gonna go on to the main event of the evening. And for the main event of the evening, Nassaurdine, the sniper, Imavov versus Caio, the natural Borrahlo. Let's get into this. Imavov said he was gonna finish Caio. Borrahlo felt like he would be able to beat Imavov easily with his game plan, but turned out that Imavov showed up and showed out. It was a good fight. Imavov is just, a great counter striker. He's super fast compared to Borrahlo. To see how fast Imavov was just made me look at his speed at a whole nother level. I already knew he was fast, strong, powerful, and athletic. Imavov was extremely fast. So they come out in the first round, sort of feeling each other out a little bit. Imavov is pressuring Borrahlo as he did the entirety of that fight. Made Borrahlo uncomfortable, made him respect his power, and Borrahlo was very, very aware and, timid at first, about, making a mistake and maybe getting caught early and getting knocked out by Imavov. So for the most part, Borrahlo was throwing that left high kick to try to keep Imavov's right hand busy or whatnot. And Imavov was just countering everything that Borrahlo was trying to do. He would try to switch stands, come in with the left, come in with that 1-2. And for the majority of the first and second round, Imavov was countering, hitting Borrahlo with the uppercuts, the 1-2, fast like combo hooks and uppercuts. I mean, lightning fast for this dude that had the build that he is, and to be as bulky and stout as he is, and to still be quick like a skinny guy is crazy. Like he packs a punch. Imavov is a special athlete. So Borrahlo had a very difficult time for most of the fight, trying to find his strikes and be able to accumulate damage on Imavov. He was very timid of Imavov's counters, and he wouldn't stay in the pocket, after he tried to throw his strikes and, try to find his own counters. But in the third round, which might have been like maybe probably one of the only rounds that Borrahlo won, you know, even though it was still a good fight. It was fairly competitive, but, you know, for the most part, Imavov dominated. Borrahlo started to find that 1-2, and he was switching stance, throwing strikes to switch stances to enter in the range, and catching Imavov with a calf kick. And those calf kicks were pretty hard. He had to set them up because he couldn't just throw a naked calf kick or leg kick, because Imavov was going to catch him and come right over top, you know, probably with that right hand if he just threw a naked calf kick. So he had to set him up. But if he was able to get more of those calf kicks off, that could have been very effective, I seen in this fight, but he wasn't able to do that either. But in the third round, he started finding his 1-2, started taking more risk, and he started, you know, staying in there and eating the shots. He was eating a lot of Imavov's good shots, but he was so scared in the beginning, in the first, second round, that he wasn't taking those chances, and that was what he was going to have to do, is take those risks and chances, because Imavov is mostly a counter striker. Even though he puts that pressure on, he feints, you know, and gets you thinking about what he's going to do. He waits for you to react to that, you know, and then he lands and finds his strikes. And Imavov's coach was so confident in Imavov's skills and that Borrahlo couldn't counter him, that he told Imavov, you start going first and starting off the exchanges. And Borrahlo was starting to have some success in that, especially in that third round. He was landing and got some good shots and some heavy shots on Borrahlo to make it a competitive fight, you know. But in the fourth and fifth round, it was the same thing, but they were probably a little bit closer. But for the most part, Imavov was getting the more damage and landing the bigger shots for the most part, and, you know, just sticking to his game plan. He said that he did get injured early in the fight because he did really want to get the finish, which didn't happen. You know, we were all expecting, you know, probably to see a finish from this fight, but it was, unfortunately, Imavov was unable to find that finish. And Caio Borrahlo, he just fell short and came up short. Waited too late in the fight to put himself in the fire and put pressure towards Imavov to try to get a big shot. And he definitely would have needed a finish by the fifth round to win this fight. And he was very apprehensive and scared of the power that Imavov possessed, but rightfully so. But there was only two ways, being, you know, how intelligent of a striker and counter striker that Imavov is, and that's either to put yourself in the fire to get that big shot, TKO knockout, or, you know, you have to set up a good strike to land to get that knockout when you're behind in the fight like that. And Imavov's just too good of a talent and a striker on the feet to let that happen. And as I said earlier, Borrahlo was unable to get any wrestling going, 0 takedowns in the fight, you know. And I thought he figured he would probably be able to wrestle a lot easier in this fight, because previously in Imavov's fight against Brendan Allen took him down a couple times, and it wasn't really difficult for Brendan Allen too. But you know, that just shows how fighters, you know, progress and fill the gaps in their games and get better. And that just shows, you know, they want to be a champion and they want that belt. But anyways, guys, that's all for this card. I enjoyed the card. It was a great fight. Great fights. bunch of knockouts and finishes. Didn't have time to really go through all of the fights, but I tried to get the ones, you know, that people cared about in the big fights. But next I'll be breaking down a big fight coming up next Saturday, UFC Noche. You got Diego Lopez versus John Silva. So the fighting nerds get another opportunity next week to get them a win, to get them up out of this 2-loss slump they just suffered in one night. I'm not saying that they're done, or you know their motion is gone and they still don't have hype. The fight nerds and Borrahlo, Carlos Prates, Ruffy, John Silva, they're still great fighters and they still have lots of time in the UFC to develop and eventually become champions. You know, some is probably more likely than other, but they have some great fighters, and it's unusual and odd sometimes to have a camp to have this many good fighters in their prime at one time. That just shows they're doing something right. But guys, get at me. We'll see you on the next one. Diego Lopez versus John Silva. Comment, tell me what you thought about the fights. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Put your notifications on, because I'm at least be putting one video out a week, if not more. I'm on the grind trying to get up to 100 followers, 100 subscribers. But that'll be it. I'm out. I'm gone. Hardcore Casual MMA.